Okay, boys and girls, today you're going to get a piece of clay and I want you to divide it into 2 equal pieces. So one aside, and you're going to turn the other piece into a pinch pot. And you probably remember this from kindergarten, how you make a pinch pot. You start by rolling it into a sphere. You can roll it between your hands or on the table, whichever works better for you. Then you're going to take your thumb and push it into the sphere, not all the way through because we're not making a donut. And then you're going to use your alligator mouth to gently pinch, going around and around until you get it about the same thickness on the sides and on the base. You want it to be about the same thickness, not too thin and not too thick. Just kind of keep playing with it till you get it just right. Smooth it with your finger, press it against the table to get a nice flat base. Now you're going to set that aside and take your other piece of clay. Pinch off a small piece to save out for your eggs and your the grassy twigs that you're going to put on the top of your nest. You're going to create another sphere by rolling the clay around in your hands or on the table. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be mostly round. And then you're going to turn that into the shape of a pear, because you want one side to be slightly smaller, that's going to be the head, and the other side to be a little bit bigger, that's going to be the bird's body. So you're going to pinch it just a little, not much, real gentle, so that you can get one end to be just slightly smaller, like the shape of a pear. Now it looks like a pear to you. You're going to take and pinch the bottom, the bigger end, and you're going to make some tail feathers. So you're going to pinch that. Don't pinch it too much. You don't want it too thin, but pinch it a little so that it's like gradually gets thinner. Not really long because you don't want it to break off. And then just smooth it out so it looks nice. You want it to look just like the tail feathers of a small bird. Okay. Then you're going to pinch the other end. This is going to be the beak. So you're going to do a really little pinch. Very small pinch. You don't want a really long beak because that could break off. So do a small beak. Smooth it. Just pinch it a couple different directions there. When you think it looks like a bird's beak, just smooth the little bumps and areas where you pinched it so that they look nice. And then you're going to take your little tool and you can create some lines on his tail to make it look more like feathers. And poke in some eyes on his head. Put some holes where his eyes would be. And then you have to decide, do I want him to have wings that I attach, or do I want to draw wings in? If you want to draw them in, you can just use that little tool that you have. If you want to attach them, you're going to use some of your extra clay to create 2 little small round, kind of like little pancakes. So you're going to create 2 of those. There's one. And there's 2. Now it's very important that you use the score and slip method to attach these. So you're going to take your toothbrush and that water with a little bit of clay in it, and you're going to rough up the side of his body and the little piece you're attaching. You want to make sure those are solidly attached. Just kind of smooth them on there. Same thing on the other side of his body and on the wing. And then attach it. And kind of smooth it so it looks like it's part of him. Alright, and then Once it looks good to you, you're going to set that back in your nest. And you still need to create your eggs. So you pinch off a couple pieces for eggs. Save a little bit for your twigs. And just roll those into little ovals. Put them in your nest. And then the last thing you're going to do is take that extra clay and roll it into super skinny little snakes, or coils, we call them in clay. So very tiny, skinny, 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 as skinny as you can make them. Roll them until they're super thin. And you want to use up all of that extra clay to do this. And of course, don't forget that you're going to attach it the same way that you did the wings. You're going to need to use the toothbrush method. You're going to need to use your toothbrush with the slip, which is the water that has a little clay in it, to attach those onto the top of your nest. And you'll want to kind of squiggle them up. So first, rough up the top of that nest. Make sure it's kind of wet and sticky and rough. Put a little bit of that stuff on each one of your twigs. And then I like to think of them like maybe grasses or something, and so I just kind of curl them all up on top of there, so it looks like it's just a piece of grass that he wove, or twigs that he wove around, she wove around to make the top of her nest. And then when you are all done, you will put this on your name tag. There should be a piece of paper that has your name on it, up on the front table or the side table, wherever Mrs. Walker has it. You're going to set your bird and your nest on top of the name card that belongs to you. And you're done.